Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're gonna have a look at my stepdad's PC. The reason for this is that sometimes his drives aren't recognized or files seem to be lost or anything like that. I already did some research. The problem is that some of the SATA ports inside aren't functioning well. Already tried the driver updates as well. Eventually I tried by testing the various SATA ports with the attached drives. Some ports work, some ports won't. One time even a port works and with another drive it doesn't. So that's really weird. To solve this problem, we decided to give this machine an upgrade since it's 8 years old and yeah, it's probably about time. So that's what we'll be doing today in this video. So stay tuned. So for the upgrade we have the MSI B450 Tomahawk MAX. The reason why I chose this board it's because it's a good budget board and it also doesn't need a BIOS update for the Ryzen 3000 series to work on there. So I chose the 3600X from AMD. The reason that I did this is this one gets a beefier cooler with the CPU itself, and since this is a not so good airflow case, we decided to give the CPU a little bit of a better cooler. We're gonna pair it with 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance 3200 MHz speed. So that would be more than enough since he now runs 8 gigs. I'm not sure at what speed, but it's also still DDR3 and this is DDR4. And we're gonna pair it with a 5500 XT. The reason for this is that this CPU doesn't have an iGPU or an internal GPU. So we're gonna pair it with a cheap graphics card so that we can get some output. So I'm gonna build this in and then we're gonna see if everything works. So let's go. Okay, so as you can see I've laid the PC on its side now and we're gonna have a look inside. Immediately we see this cable. This is an IDE cable. We hardly ever use this anymore, so that was also a reason why we need to upgrade this. So I'm going to disassemble this and then I'm going to put everything together and yeah, I'll take you along for the ride. Okay, so now that the old motherboard is out, we're going to assemble the new one. Most of this we like to do outside of the case. So I'm gonna leave this to the side now. And here we have the motherboard. So at first we want to install the CPU. So I'm going to open it up. As you can see, this is the CPU, and right here we have the socket. So what we want to do is we want to pull the lever up, and we want to open our package with the CPU. And the CPU always can go into one direction. As you can see here, there's a little triangle on the corner of the CPU, and that aligns with a little triangle in the socket. And as you can see, it fell immediately in. So the only thing we need to do is pull down the lever. So the CPU, it's in its socket now. And now we can install the cooler. As you can see, the cooler has already thermal paste applied. With this cooler, we need to dismount the cooler bracket. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, be careful because there is this bracket on the back side, as you can see. So we need to keep that in place. So I'm gonna lay it down again, and now we can mount the cooler. And as you can see now, the cooler is installed. On the top here we have our CPU fan. So I'm gonna plug that in right there. And try to cable route it a little bit. Okay. So now that the cooler is in, we are going to install the RAM. We got two DIMMs, 8 gigs each. And you have this little notch on your RAM sticks. There's also a little groove in the DIMM slots. This way you can only put it in one direction. So that's what I will be doing now. Just like that. And as you can see, everything that could be mounted on it already outside of the case. This way we have a easier installation when putting it in. So I'm going to grab the case again, and then we're gonna build it in. Okay, so I've prepared the motherboard, got the old one out. I moved a few standoffs. These standoffs are really important because they prevent your motherboard with all their contacts from touching the steel chassis. So that's really important that you do that. I would probably also have to reroute some cables, but I will do that after the motherboard is placed in. But first, we really need to replace this bad boy, because that's made for the old one, and we're going to insert the new one. So and that's in. The reason why you want to do that first is because you won't get it in there after you've built your system, and it would be kind of a headache to get everything out to just place the I/O shield back in again. So right now I'm going to try to keep all the cables to the side. I'm going to remove the cables first, because they are sucky, fucky. Yeah. Okay, so I already pulled back the cables a little bit. This way I can put in the motherboard a little bit easier. Now you got to make sure that all the standoffs are aligned with the screw holes of your motherboard. And then we can start screwing them in. Oh, this motherboard is so screwed. Okay, now the motherboard is in. I can already plug in the 8-pin EPS. So now I'm going to grab the graphics card and put that in. So I'll be right back. Here I have the ASRock Radeon 5500 XT Challenger. We're gonna do a little peel from it, if I can grab it. As you can see, the cooler is a little bit longer than the card itself. I also have a peel over here, so. And there is a PCI cover on it, so we're gonna remove that. We're gonna stick it into its place, just like that. Okay, so now that all the main components are in, I'm going to have to do some cable management. So when I'm done with all that, I'll be right back at you guys, and we'll see if it posts. Okay, so as you can see now, I've did the cable management. I've connected everything that is needed for the system to power up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear out my desk a bit and then let's see if it posts. Okay, so the rebuild is done. We've installed the motherboard, the CPU, the memory and the graphics card. I've hooked it up to my TV so that you can see if it posts or not. So let's have a look. In 3, 2, 1. System turns on. And as we can see, it wants to boot into Windows, and it's already here. So I'm going to switch off the TV for now. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna update all the drivers and everything for it. I mostly would recommend to do a fresh install, but since there are so many applications on here and configurations at my stepdad's home, I'm going to try to do it through updating the drivers, and then this PC is done. So thank you for watching this video for how to upgrade your PC. And if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, just give it a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe, because next week there will be also a new video. And leave a comment down below to tell me what you have in your rig, and maybe you need an upgrade as well. So I see you guys next week. Bye.